there is nothing like the aroma that stems from defeating the woke mind virus. Such untamed, polished, refined, gourmet aroma that can only be felt and smelled and just tasted when the woke idiots just go down in flames once again, harder than the last time and not as hard as the next time. Nothing beats that feeling, and today we're going to explore the whole meal preparation and the way that they were just served in the best way possible. Greetings ladies and gents, my name is Helzo and I am DiscussThing, and today we have something so juicy, so voluptuous, so nice, so bare and so in your senses that you're going to be left after this video just, I want to experience this, because when we're talking about a woke takedown, nothing strikes better than to have it hit when they hurt, and they hurt in gaming a lot, and they hurt in that area particularly because they were so sure for so many years that they're going to be the new leader of the gaming community. They are going to dictate how we're going to experience games, what games we're going to like, and what games we're allowed to like and experience, what political messaging we will be experiencing and adopting as per their demands. 1984 all around for the world of gaming. Well, it didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. We basically just own them at every corner. Good games, indie games, AAA games, quadruple A games, every corner of the world in gaming, they were defeated. They released a quadruple A Assassin's Creed swap. We returned the favor with an almost indie French game from the people that formerly worked at Ubisoft that completely annihilated them in both sales numbers, in players numbers, in player satisfaction, and in pretty much absolute everything. They release something like Dragon Age the Veilguard, and the people release a console game that is so filled with sexy women, with innuendos, with a lot of good visuals, that when 1 year later it is released for the PC, it breaks even more records just to be in the face of the woke church, because that's how you get gamers, by giving them everything they want and more. Of course, the game that I am talking about is Stellar Blade, and as you can see, this image proves exactly what I've been telling you. This is an image from yesterday that I saw, and it was basically saying thank you 3 million copies. So this is 3 million copies cumulated on consoles and on PC altogether. Now let me just get some facts out there for you. Stellar Blade released last year on the consoles and it made absolute waves. It was beloved by a lot of people. Many people said on X that they're just like, okay, this is a console game that I would like, and I would gather that a lot of them bought a console exactly for that reason. And when now it released on PC this year, just a few days ago, it sold over 1 million copies in 3 days. When is the last game from the woke community that can brag with something like this? They are releasing a full game on every console. They can barely have 1 million players and 1 million sales in total. And with this, we're just having a tidal wave after tidal wave towards the woke mind virus. As you can see from the Steam charts page, Stellar Blade, which released on a fucking Thursday, quickly climbed to pretty much break almost every record to concurrent players even before the opening weekend. This is from Thursday 12th of June, when it reached 183,000 concurrent players on Steam alone. Then you have a drop, then you have another climb which goes to 176,000, another drop, and then on Saturday it reached 188,000, and then one drop, and then on a Sunday it goes to 192.078 thousand, and the current peak after this, which is today, was 170,000. These are concurrent players, and we have talked about concurrent players before. If you have that many players, you can pretty much multiply by a lot the people that have bought the game as a whole, and we have it already 3 million copies sold, with over 1 million copies only through PC sales. And if you know what that means that in 3 days it sold more than some quadruple A games sold in over a month. I'm looking at you, Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the bigger thing is that this game reportedly cost around $50 million to make. So they're already making bang with a game that costs $70 at a base price. And if you get the deluxe edition and pay a little bit more, you're getting a lot of, let's say, visual perks that you might enjoy. Now, Stellar Blade is one thing that the journals just don't like. It has sexy women in it. It has a heavy focus on the physical attractiveness of the main protagonist and on the side characters as well. The story, even though I have been playing the game for a short time, can already tell you that it is a meaningful one and it is a good one. I'm not gonna say if it's a perfect story, if it's an absolute banger of story, but it is good enough. Gameplay is amazing. It plays a little bit like Devil May Cry with Souls-like elements, but not too much. And it is an amazing because you have a lot of game mechanics, you have a variety of skills, you have a variety of outfits to outfit Eve that don't affect her performance at all, but it is a visual pleasure to see. And that is exactly what the problem is with the woke journalist. Her looks. Eve, which is the main protagonist of the game, looks hot. She is hot. She's amazingly hot. And for a long time, the journalist was like, oh, this is an unrealistic expectations from one. This is an unrealistic look. And then it came to be that the actual model for Eve was a real life person, and it was the then fiance of the creative director. And they look pretty much alike. And I'm sorry, but I just can't share any of the photos because YouTube is being weird and I don't want to trigger anything, but you can go on Google and search for Eve's model. It's a very nice comparison. But speaking of journal tiers, this is an article from one Joshua Volens, and before we continue with this article, I just want to show you a comparison that Grumps did by reposting Pirate Nation, who basically got the scoop before that. This is the article that we're about to see, and this is a previous article from several months ago for Baldur's Gate, which basically says Baldur's Gate 3's bare sex scene was such an upward turn in momentum for the game that its animator called his mom to show it off. She was like, that is weird. I don't know who writes an article like this, but please don't be a article writer or a journalist ever again. But moving on, Gunnar Game of the Year Stellar Blades mods are 41% smut, ensuring this gamer will never see the light of heaven. This is just an amazing article piece. That headline is amazing. It reeks of pseudo conservatism with the light of heaven and everything else. It's just an amazing headline that I am laughing very hardly every time I read it. It's apparently always possible for there to be less clothing. Funny enough, they're showing off one of the characters that does not go usually with little clothing. This is Lily, which is an amazing character as well. It finally hit PC 2 days ago, giving everyone a chance to do whatever it is this game is actually about. Unfortunately, no one knows what that is because the entirety of discourse surrounding it is about the main characters. But yeah, attractive women, especially in an issue where it was basically shunned to have sexy women and even attractive characters because of the woke mind virus that showcased theoretical women and mythical creatures that apparently are non-binary by their own words. Yes, it will raise a lot of talks, especially in the beginning. However, it is important to say that journals are probably never gonna play Stellar Blade, and they're never going to realize that this game is more than that. Yes, the attractiveness factor admittedly does help. It is good. It is good. We're gooning, we're constantly joking about it, we're constantly talking about Eve and stuff like that, but this is not the center of the conversation. This is one of the many pleasant facts in that game that we enjoy exploring and we enjoy talking about, because we are gamers and these stuff please us, and it is good that these stuff please us because it is all about our purchases and our money, where they go, and we want them to go to stuff that actually bring us joy. And this is something that probably the woke journals and the people who have pronouns in their names and don't have any shred of backbone are going to be very weird about. But yeah, attractive women do sell, and that is something apparently that none of the big game studios are currently able to process. But we continue. Well, now that But is on PC, and you know what that means, mods. And if I were to make a book right now on how many of those mods somehow made Stellar Blade even more not safe for work than it is out of the box, I expect I would make very much money, not least because you've probably all read the headline. By intense scientific calculus, and he puts it counting. Yeah, that's probably for the typical readers for PC Gamer. Fully 96 of the 234 mods, 41% that currently exist for Stellar Blade, are marked as adult. Let me just remind you that this is the same guy that has this article here on the ball, and Baldur's Gate 3 has more mods than Stellar Blade that are explicit, and the base game is much more explicit than Stellar Blade without mods. So kind of weird of you to say that, but okay, whatever floats your boat. I think apparently bare sex floats your boat more than sexy women, so you do you, probably, or don't, depending on how you figure out this question. The majority are, well, what you expect, various ways to make Eve and other women in game various levels of nude, with the most popular living fully. No, it's not the most popular. Currently, the Crimson Red Dress, which actually comes with the game, is one of the most requested clothing that people do enjoy having because it is amazing, and I'm actually playing with it as well. Someone did put her in an apron though, which I suppose leaves something to the imagination. There are also a lot of main menu replacers that just put hardcore smooth of one variety or another right there on the home screen if that's your bag. I mean, the level of coping from these people is just amazing, and it is understandable because those people are the same people that cheer for Dragon Age the Vanguard, for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and they're constantly defending it even though those games are absolute flops because they were just political woke slop that tried to push a flawed and degenerate agenda, where Stellar Blade is just a true game that has a great story and it has attractive women in it. Yes, it does have adult elements. Yes, however, let's just compare that to the Tash scene from Dragon Age the Vanguard, where she basically pins someone to the wall and have her way with him. What about when, again, the same Tash says, okay, I'm non-binary and there's all this trans ideology? That's, or the bare sex scene from Baldur's Gate 3. That's okay for these people, right? But sexy women, no. No, we cannot have that. Nope. And I actually have the perfect meme from it, from the account Worn So Thin. Woman in latex suit? Ew. Bare sexy? Yes. And how can I forget the absolute shield himself, Paul Tassi. This is from Smash JT, and this is probably one of the most racist things that you can actually read. The Stellar Blade curve is uninteresting, as you can see just how Asia focused it is. Prime gaming time in the West is pretty much its daily low point. So an Asian game is popular in Asia, and you're complaining and you're upset that it's Asia and that it has high numbers because of Asian people, and you don't want to count Asian people, and you want to dismiss the argument that the game is successful because it is played by Asian people? Is this what you're saying? Please say yes. And this tweet is absolutely amazing. It has been shared to so many channels already. It has been discussed in so many streams. And this is just so racist on every level. It's not even an opinion. This is racist. Trying to dismiss a whole group of people, like a whole race of people, if you will, just because it doesn't fit your anti-racist and inclusive woke agenda. And just as a last reminder, these are some of the stats that were noticed for one of the most expensive games of last year, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and Stellar Blade, which I think costs a fraction of that. We have 1,200 people currently in game. This is from June 15, and we have 133,000 people now. Granted, this is a newly released on PC game, but you can see also the reviews. You can see also everything else, and you can even go to the Dragon Age Veilguard's official Steam DB page and see that the all-time peak is 89,000, which is basically half of that of Stellar Blade. All of this shows future gamers, future game developers, and current ones, as well as investors, that gamers do want one specific thing, and that thing encompasses several sub things, and that thing is satisfaction. That satisfaction stems from immersion, from pleasantries to the eyes, to the ears, to your senses, to all five senses. We want this. We don't want to be politically engaged within a game. We don't want to be bombarded with propaganda. We don't want to be made to feel bad for the choices that we make and to be constantly insulted about it. We don't want game journalists insulting gamers who like one game and don't like another. We are entitled to like whatever we want, and we are entitled to criticize whatever we feel like we want to criticize. And that's what makes gaming great, because when you have that, you have accountability, you have sales numbers, you have people who don't buy or buy a game, and that's how you see what brings in the money. And at the end of all of this, for these development companies, from the investors, for the big companies, that's the most important thing. What brings in the money? And the money are brought in by gamer satisfaction. And I think that after this year, after this amazing year for AA games, for indie games, for remasters of a good game, and from games that just aim to please the gamers, I think that we are about to see a kind of a revival in the gaming industry, most likely from new companies and most likely from smaller developers that are just going to make that time and make that spot to shine and bring out their projects and to showcase that gaming is not dead. Gaming is just going through a revivalment phase, and that's what I think, and that's what I think is going to happen. And that thing, my ladies and gents, is a thing to see. But anyways, that's all I have for this video today. If you enjoy this content, press the like and subscribe button. If you want to help me and help homeless animals and animals in shelters, consider clicking that join button and becoming part of the DiscussThing Guild. Follow me on all my links down in the description below, and please don't forget to leave a comment telling me what you think. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Kelso. This was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.